What's up? What's up? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the October Sales Mastery Call. We do this every single month, and I'm so grateful that you have joined us live. I see so many of my friends here. I want to know right off the bat in the chat, where do you get stuck in the rate shopper conversation? Is it like right away when somebody calls you and says, "What's your rate?" and you go, "Oh," and you freeze? Is it when they're meeting with you face to face and they say, well, what's your rate? Or is it after you've already done a pre-approval meeting and they call back and say, oh, I've been shopping around? Where is it that you're getting stuck on the rate thing? So Jeff, you said at the beginning, Jasmine, once they're under contract, okay, now we're like, shit, what do we do? We've done all this work. Now they're under contract. What are we doing with this? Michelle says right away, I stutter every time. Okay. Thank you for saying that. Dan under contract, Shelly under contract after pre-approval, after the pre-approval meeting, after the pre-approval meeting. Purvi, at the beginning when they're shopping around, after the pre-approval meeting, when I've issued a closing cost worksheet and the other lender has not. Okay. After the pre-approval meeting and at the beginning, if they're shopping. Okay, so you guys see just how identifying that is super, super helpful, because then you can think about, well, if this is coming up here, what have I done previous to this to avoid this, prevent it, limit it, shrink it? And so anytime you step out of your business a little bit, you hover a little bit higher, you get unemotional, you can start adding things into your process. And what I would invite you to do today is really see how KitBait is going to show you that it is a process for how you build trust. It's a process for how you condition your referral partners and your clients to walk through your process without getting, these surprises that come up. And no matter where you're at in terms of being a process-driven professional, you could be on the far end when it's all personality, you're winging it, you're talking to people in the bathroom stall or while you're driving the car or at your kids' baseball games, and you're just winging it. Or you're somebody that's like, no, I'm pretty dialed and I have a process and a checklist and I have a next step for everybody, but you can always find ways to tighten it up. And it's an evolution. And the best part about business is that we can always find ways to improve. So Kit Bate and I go way back. We were both part of the core training together. Kit has always had this incredible energy. Kit, I don't know if you realize it, but you've just got this like calm. You've got this calm, cool swagger. And I love what you put on social media. It just feels really natural. You're authentic. You're very involved with your church. You've got a bunch of kids, one going off on a mission. You've been at Gill Mortgage now for a couple years. And guys, I get to see Kit Bates' locked pipeline. As of 3 days ago, he had 20 loans locked with only 10 basis points in subsidy. His average revenue per loan averages $2,500 more per loan than the entire ecosystem at Gill Mortgage. This guy sells the revenue. He doesn't give it away. He doesn't discount his commission. He is the perfect person to teach us. You crushed it at Slay with Shay, Kit. So take it away. Teach us how we can win with rate shoppers.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the very kind words. And for, that's one thing that you're amazing at, right? Is just like seeing that goodness in other people. Like for me, like I didn't know the stats. Like this is all like I just kind of for so many years I've been hyper focused on just like selling real value. And so it just kind of came something natural for me and wasn't something that was it was intentionally done, but not like something that I like wrote it all out and I was like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do every single time. And so it's evolved into what it is right now. And so I believe in my value. I believe in what I can do for people, and that's a big piece of it. So as we go through this, I think that we have to kind of back into it and we talk about like, okay, well, when are we
Kit, before you back into it, I just said you're calm, cool, and you have this swagger. And you said I sell with value, but you weren't always that Kit. Like
Yeah.
Okay. So before coaching, you were like all of us that would flinch and
Yeah.
freak out and not have a plan. And slowly over time, you've added these things in to where you get shopped way less. But there
Right.
wasn't, you didn't pop out of the womb or jump into
Right.
mortgage lending. And we're always good at this, is the point.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like I was kind of the same as most people are, right? Where it was it was a lot of work coming up with deals, trying to get every single deal possible and offering discounts like crazy. And as soon as someone would say, "Well, hey, I've talked to someone else," then my natural instinct would be like, "Okay, well, like send me their quote and I'll match it. I'll do a price match for sure. We do that." And I'd always jump to like, yeah, let's offer the discount. And then another way that we won't dive into as much, but another way that we discount our commissions and our services is paying for realtors leads, right? Like that's something where it's like, hey, well, if you want my business, like I want you to pay $1,000 a month towards our stuff. And I swore that off. Like I used to do a bunch of that. And I was just like, nobody loves that. The realtors don't love that. Like most of their business is closing from their database. And so I just started telling people no. I was like, hey, this doesn't work. I've got more value to add. Like I will take internet leads and I will convert them because my processes are better. My scripts are better, my conversion ratios, my follow-up system. And so I show and I lead with that value of saying, okay, I'm not going to pay, but let me show you why. Would you like $1,000 a month, 12 grand a year, or would you like $150,000 a year? And they're like, well, what, explain. And so then you dive in. It's like, okay, here's how I'm going to make you $150,000 a year and not give you $1,000 a month. And it's a better trade by explaining that value. And so yeah, so I was that way where it's just like, yeah, I'll discount things, I'll pay for things, and I built up over time the processes and the systems and the scripts and having the conversion ratio that I do to be able to have the confidence and the mindset to go out and sell what real value is, not, $1,000 a month. It's like, well, what if I can give you $10,000 a month? And helping everyone understand that and explaining it in a way that's not just like, nope, I'm not going to do that because I hold my price, I hold, my marketing expense. So I think that a big piece of it is that mindset. So when we talk about mindset with regards to shoppers, it's a couple different things. One, taking a step back further to like your why, like what is your purpose of working? Like your purpose of working is to retire. It's to have a bunch of money. It's to have more time that's like meaningful time. And we sometimes get distracted by the numbers because the scoreboard that we talked about a little bit the other day, the scoreboard often is highlighted with like, here's what we closed, like, and whatever it took to get to the top of that scoreboard doesn't matter. But that's really when we boil it down is not the goal. The goal is, well, let's have a bunch of money and a bunch of like high quality, influential time with our family, our friends, whatever it is. And so in order to do that and have that time and the money, that's where it's like, well, we've got to hold price. We've got to get more per transaction. But in order to like confidently do that, we've got to know that we're worth it. We got to know that we're worth paying, the Nordstrom price for shoes and not like comparing ourselves to Walmart shoes, right? Like we're not the $5 Velcro shoes. We're like Nordstrom, high quality, like high return policy. Like people are willing to pay $300-400 for a pair of shoes because they know what they're getting. But then we jump into our business and it's like, well, like we know we're worth it, but we don't tell anybody. No one understands why we're actually worth more. And so we've got to be able to know what our value is. So part of that's the mindset. So we'll go into kind of those components of how's our mindset, what's the value, what is our actual value when we're like trying to influence our mindset. Getting referred right is a huge piece of it, teaching people exactly how we want to be referred. And then true shoppers, like when we do all of that stuff and we're still getting shopped, like then what do we do? Um, So for our value, well, before I jump into the value, one thing that's really important to realize is there are not as many shoppers as there are value seekers. But in the mortgage industry, nobody knows what value to seek, and so all they do is just ask about shopping, about price, about fees. So just because they've not been told that, and so we'll get into some of that too. But when people ask questions about like, well, tell me like why do I hear this rate that's lower? Why are their fees lower? Instead of just jumping to I'll match the rate, I'll match the fees. We've got to understand that a lot of times when they're asking those questions, they just don't know. They're just asking a question. They're not asking for a discount. They're just asking a question. So provide an answer, a legitimate, thorough, educated answer. Um, so know your value. So first thing you got to do is really identify what your value is. Like, what is it that you bring to the table that no other loan officers do, or very few do? Like that only the top 5% or 10% of loan officers do. And it doesn't have to be real complicated. So for me, um, when I'm talking to clients in particular, communication, education, and elevation. So communicate, educate, elevate. That's my value. I will communicate better because most loan officers, and that's the distinction you've got to make too when you're explaining your value, you've got to explain that that's something that not everybody else does. So if I tell somebody, hey, like I communicate really well, so I will keep you posted. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Like the assumption is every loan officer will do that. And so for me, it's like, hey, the biggest complaints that I hear in the mortgage industry are about communication. So this is why I communicate. This is how I do it so that you don't fall victim to that lack of communication that everybody else does. They don't know what's going on. There's surprises that come up. Things get delayed. You jeopardize your earnest money. Like that's why communication is so big, and that's why I help with that. That's why I focus on communication. The education side of it for me is like you have to understand your options. You can't just blindly trust me. You have to educatedly trust me, but you can't get educated unless I explain everything to you. So I will spend the time. Most loan officers, again, explaining that value, most loan officers will not do that. Most loan officers are data entry. They just plug it in and say, okay, you're approved. Good luck. I will explain all of the options. I'll show everything to you. I'll take the time to slow down and explain why things have to go the way they do so that you are informed and you know that you're making the right decision and it's not just me making a decision for you. In addition to educating you on like what's the future look like? That's the elevation part. Because most loan officers are just going to say, okay, well, for you, this is what the best option is. This is the cheapest option. I had one the other day. The guy he came back to me with a quote and was like, okay, well, this guy's quoting me a lower interest rate. I'm like, okay, well, you don't want the lower rate though. What do you mean? Well, look at what this is going to cost you up front. He was taking him with FHA. He was buying down the interest rate because the numbers looked better, but I showed him the full cost. I'm like, okay, well, you got the upfront mortgage insurance premium. You got the buy down cost. It was like $12,000 extra compared to what I was showing him. And I was like, do you really want to spend $12,000 extra? And then he's like, "Oh, well, no, yeah." So that future focus, in addition to like, are you going to keep this home as a rental property? Or how are you going to get towards the retirement goal, the big picture? So that's the kind of the value add that I take people through and making that distinction along the way of here's what I do, here's what the norm is. Because we can't let if we don't intentionally help people perceive what our value is and make that distinction, then they will 100% of the time assume that everybody will do that unless they happen to have had a bad experience with someone else in the past. Then they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's exactly like that. And then they'll make that distinction themselves. They'll be like, oh yeah, last time I got a loan, this happened. They didn't communicate. You're exactly right. So we've got to make sure that those distinctions are being made. When it comes to our value, we've also got to have a value proposition for realtors to know why we're different and better than everyone else. Why they need to refer us and refer only us to then we'll get into that. But the value proposition for real estate agents that's mine is I will convert business, I will generate business, and I'll build your capacity for business. It's all about money. It's got to be about them and their money. Not just like, hey, here's how I want you to refer me, and this is why, so that I can make more money. But here's why it's better for you. Here's why referring me is going to make you more money because my follow-up's better, so I'll convert. National average for conversion on mortgage business is like 8% for a loan officer. So I know my stats. I'm at 25%. I'm over triple what the national average is on conversion. So your odds of closing a deal go up by you simply referring business to me. Then I have current client referral processes and systems so that I will find and extract more business for you during the transaction. Would you like that? Would you like for me to send you a pre-approval and a referral? And then the capacity for business, teaching processes and systems and scripts so that they can increase their capacity for their business as well. So they have more ability for closing. Instead of closing three deals a month, take that capacity to 6 to 10 by teaching them how to be more efficient with their business, delegation, things like that. So those are like my value adds, just as an example. So everyone kind of has like a template for like what to go off of. Yeah.
I want to add into the elevation bucket, and I'm sure you do this, that you need to talk about winning the deal with the client. I'm looking at Ken McKee on this line, and he was like, look, I pre-underwrite my files so that my clients can win on terms, not necessarily on price. Meaning I can do a shorter close. I can do the 17-day guarantee or the credit approval guarantee or whatever it is that you have, because that's elevating that buyer in front of their competition. So it could kind of fit in the elevate bucket, or you might add a fourth bucket, which is I help you win. At the end of the day, when you said there's more value seekers than price seekers, I thought that was just like a light bulb going off. That was like, wow, that truly what people are seeking is someone they can trust that will get them all the way to their outcome they want, that will get them with keys in hand. I've recently been to a lot of doctor's appointments with my kids. And so I'm meeting all these different professionals. I'm in the gastroenterologist, I'm at an ENT, I'm at a sleep specialist, I'm like all over the damn place. And you guys, it 100% has been about the person that slows down, that asks probably 5 more questions, that shows us that they're really interested. We've walked out of these doctor's appointments because my daughter's had like stomach issues and stuff and not really having an answer. But I tell you, I walk out and go, that's a good one. I am so happy we got to meet with this doctor today. And I'm literally going, oh, that's what a consumer really wants. They want someone who will sit down with them, slow down, eyeball to eyeball, and like you feel taken care of. And every one of us can do that. It's not that hard, but you're right. I like how you're always saying, well, this is what's typical in our industry. The last thing I'll say about a script is in the pre-approval meeting, and I stole this from Josh Sigmund years ago. Kit, you might have used it. Yeah. Is I would always say, hey, in 2008, loan officers were ranked top 3 scum of the earth behind used car salesmen and attorneys. And everybody always chuckles, right? And I say, here's why. Number one, most loan officers and lenders do not communicate. So you're going through this really exciting and stressful process, and you're moving your life from one house to the next, and you're not sure if you're going to get approved or what's going on, and you can't get a hold of anybody, or if there's a problem, you have to call a 1-800 number, or they're not available after hours, and it's very stressful. Number 2, they close late. So you're literally sitting on the curb of your new house with your U-Haul packed and your kids, and you have nowhere to stay because they don't deliver on time. Our industry is really bad about this. And then third, you get surprised at closing. The money that you have to bring to closing or what your payment, you've heard about people getting bait and switched, where all of a sudden they've got a surprise couple $1,000s that has to come. So I just want you to know that's absolutely opposite of how I work. I'm a referral-based loan officer. So not only am I looking to kill it for you, but I'm looking for you to become a raving fan and refer me business. So I communicate, and here's how. We close on time, and I have a guarantee. and we guarantee our numbers. And if I'm wrong, I eat it. And it's that little script I said 10,000 times. And it works because you're able to kind of joke with the industry and also give your value promises that you're going to make. Furthermore, I'm really well known in the area. My pre-approval letters mean something. We're number one in market share, which means we're the most trusted. We underwrite and fund and everything right here in-house. And the reason that matters for you is if you go compete on a house and there's 5 other pre-approval letters and there's some online lender or some credit union or some random bank, not only am I going to call and, advocate for you and sell you, but we've also got a reputation of getting the job done. So I just want you to know you're in the right place. Now, if a doctor said this to me, I've done 10,000 surgeries like this. I've met with probably 50 kids just like your daughter in this age group. And here's what I've found. I'm going to feel better because I'm like, okay, you're the expert. You know what you're doing. I'm in the right hands.
And with the doctor example, like that can go back to some of the mindset of like you don't shop your doctors based on how much they cost, right? Like you're not going to go to a doctor and be like, hey, how much does it cost for you? Like I want to make sure that either I'm saving money or the insurance company is saving money. It's like you just go in, you're like, this is my health and my livelihood of getting the treatment that I actually need, and I'll pay any price for that. And we understand that because it's like, well, I don't want to die, and so people are willing to do that, and so we've got to help everyone perceive that value. And just like you complimenting the doctor on your way out, like we've got to be doing such a good job that people are complimenting us, that we're extracting those compliments, especially even the ones that don't compliment naturally, but just like asking them, like, how do you feel? Like, have I done a good job on a scale of 1 to 10? Like, how am I doing? Like extracting those compliments so that way we help them perceive our value. So when they're just making the assumption of like, oh yeah, everybody will do it the same way that Kit does it. And then we ask and say, how do you feel like I'm doing? Oh, you're great. Like then it reinforces and instills in them that like we are doing a great job, that they're receiving that value. So um,
I want to add one more thing to your capacity comment.
yeah.
I love that you have convert, generate, and build capacity for your business because I've always thought about what everybody has in common. It's time, money, and stress. And so, where is your agent out of time? And how is your process for meeting with that client in a full pre-approval, gathering all their documents, doing an upfront underwrite, whatever it is that your process is? How does that save the agent time? How does it reduce their stress? And how does it help them convert better because of you being their partner? So when I think of capacity, Kit, I think about, okay, well, if other lenders are taking 45 days to close and I can get closed in 20 days, I just bought you 20 more days of capacity to work on another transaction. Or because I do an hour pre-approval meeting and I educate the clients and I get them totally zoned in on what they can actually afford, and I create urgency for them to get out there and buy now before whatever they need to avoid waiting for, that's going to save you time because rather than looking at 40 houses uneducated and you having to drive all over God's green earth, I'm going to have them really narrowed in so that you have more capacity. Because if your average buyer only looks at 7 houses, because I did my job and we work in tandem, how many more buyers can you handle with those kind of efficiencies because of both of us working on our process together?
Yeah. And you can see just in that conversation, like where it starts to shift away from price. And it's like you've helped them focus on what the value is and help teach people that there is real value other than just the price. And so that starts to eliminate the would-be shoppers. And there's still a percentage that are of course gonna ask about it, but that starts to shrink that group down significantly. And so if we can back into that and teach people how to refer and lead with that before they even are talking to us, then it shrinks that group down even more. And so when we're teaching people, whether that's referral sources or past clients, how to refer, we've got to be good at explaining to them why it's better for them, especially with real estate agents. Like, why is it better for you to refer this way? Like, if I'm going to tell you exactly what to say, what I like, how I like to be referred, you've got to do it in a way that's not just like, hey, I hate how you're doing it. Like, I prefer that you do it this way so that I don't ever have to run into issues. But like, if you refer this way, then it makes you look like the pro. It makes you build confidence with your client. It puts you in a position where you're going to get referred more. And here's the other things that I do, of course, to to help convert and make you more money. But so with those conversations, an easy transition to having those conversations with realtors is to ask them, start with like, hey, how do you like to be referred? And then that, of course, tees up the opportunity for us to say, well, here's how I like to be referred. Here, is it okay if I tell you how I'd like to be referred? But by doing that, it also just helps them get referred stronger. Like, oh, I've never thought about that. Like, well, I think that like if you say this about me and this about me, that would be good. Cool. Like here's a couple other things that I've noticed from my perspective that you do different from everyone else. So here's what I would throw in when you're telling people how to refer you to help you get referred stronger as well. Can I share a couple things with you of like how I like to get referred? Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, and so when you do it that way, it's an easy segue and it's not you're shifting the focus away from yourself and more towards the benefits for them. And then that's where you can go in and say, okay, well, here's the three things that I feel like I do really well that people ask about and helps me convert business. So if you would say these three things, Kit will communicate, he'll educate, he'll elevate. Like if you go through that with a client and help them realize that I'm different from everyone in that way, that would be great for me. In fact, I'll take it a step further. What if I send you an email template or a text template and then you can just copy that and then anytime you're sending a referral you can just say that every time you don't have to like retype it or anything. You can just give that to them. So doing that by saying okay, here's how I like to be referred. This is going to increase your conversion ratios. This is going to make you look like a pro. It's going to make you get more business. Then it helps them see the need on their end of why they should refer you strong, why they should do it the right way. And then going further and saying, okay, well, and here's why you hate your life because you've been referring wrong, to whatever you want to structure that as. But by referring three, and then you get mad at closing because like or close to closing, it's like, well, they just changed lenders or the lender didn't let me know. It's like, well, you created that by not referring strong. So the process is a mess. They jump ship, they change, they question things, they back out of the deal, whatever it is. So you've got to have somebody that is going to be able to be a partner with you, or you're jeopardizing the whole transaction. And so by you referring three people, you run the risk of that happening because you know that out of those three, there's one that's going to be much better at closing that deal, of protecting the client and protecting their interest. So helping them realize that versus just like, here's the cheapest one. Like everybody knows the cheapest is going to be the worst and not the best. And so um, that's something as far as just explaining to the real estate agents, like this is why you want to refer strong so that it's for you and not just like, hey, I don't like getting shopped. Like leave me alone. Don't make me do that. Um,
All
so
right. We're at the end of our time, but I want to do some rapid fire questions.
go.
Off the top, what percentage of people that are getting a mortgage do you think are truly shoppers?
Less than 10.
Less than 10. And those 10%, do you try to capture them? And if
Yes.
so, what's your tactics so you don't waste a lot of time?
Yep. So there's a couple things to explain to them why other quotes are often wrong, and so making sure that it's very thorough because it's like okay, well they're not charging any points. It's like okay, well their origination fee that's on there or their underwriting fees double or things like that. Like explain to them just being transparent of how they work. Or a lot of times they're just see a billboard or get a quote that's not accurate, and it's like hey, just so you know, this is how it works. Most people that advertise this is what they do. This is why they do it lower because they're intentionally trying to get something out there that they know isn't reality so that people will call them. Then don't do an exact match. Like say, hey, like normally like those places, yeah, they're cheaper, and that's not where we're at because they discount the everything else in the process, so it can jeopardize the whole transaction. But here's what I'm willing to do. As long as you promise not to tell anybody else that I'm doing it, I'm not gonna cut my costs by $2,000, but I will pay for the appraisal for you. I will drop it, 500 bucks or $1,000. So you don't have to really like take it in the shorts completely. You can still offer those discounts, but you do it in a way that's like, hey, like we talked about our value, so you understand that this is where we're at. This is why they're cheaper because it's going to fall apart. You're going to jeopardize the whole thing. But here's what I will do for you. If I have to do at some kind of a discount, then I will offer that, but I won't do a full match when it's those big monster discounts, right? Like where it's the cheap online places that, loan officers getting paid 15 bucks an hour to work on their deal and they could care less if it actually closes. Um, so that's a big thing. And then
So
following up,
only 10% are real rate shoppers. What do you
yeah.
think the average loan officer thinks are real rate shoppers?
Oh, like 60+%, I would assume.
So that's why your competition is going to be jittery or jumpy, or it might be where you are, is just the first belief. Or do you believe that people are value shopping or price shopping? And how many truly do not care? They only care about the cheapest price. And then second, is that your client? It will be my client if they follow my process. Like I'm going to play with them a little bit, but if they're going to just run me through 17 other quotes next, I'd rather go meet the next client. Wouldn't you guys? So this is really powerful. Most people, I don't think, have these 3 points on the client and 3 points on the realtor. And whatever you pick as your value, I'd pick 3. You don't want to come in and go, well, my value is a 10-point value proposition. As you can see, I already added to Kit's bullet points, but Kit's doing just fine. How many loans you closing this month, Kit?
We'll close 16, I think, this month.
And how many of them did you end up having to pay for appraisals because they came back with a cheaper quote and you're like, ooh, don't tell anyone I'm paying your appraisal?
None.
Okay. So thank you for this, Kit. I'm really excited for you guys to go back and listen to this. And I will tell you, I am recording a podcast with Kit next week. And you better believe I've got all kinds of notes where we're going to go deeper and deeper. Can we please give it up for Kit? Give him some noise, give him some raise the roof for some clapping. I see Bill and Art clapping for you. Kit, that was fantastic. And just bumping up our confidence and our value is fantastic. So there's so much to lead there with. The last thing is the Nordstrom tennis shoes really sticks with me because I remember when we first got coached and I met with a coach, she said, you're giving away Nordstrom service for people. You're coming around the thing. You're giving them the special bag. You're giving them the 9 o'clock calls. You're doing all the scenarios. You are putting heart, mind, body, and soul into these clients, and you know what you're doing, and you're damn good at it for Walmart prices. And I had to look in the mirror and go, you're right. I'm worth more. I am Nordstrom. And I had to believe that before they did. And then I had to remember the doctor story that ultimately people will make the decision to work with you at your pre-approval meeting, you guys. They will make the decision at your pre-approval meeting, just like I do at the first doctor's appointment. Is this a person that gets it, can deliver, and actually cares about me? Okay. Kit, thank you. That was fantastic.
Yep.
Next up, we have got Ryan Erekson. Ryan is working with us at Guild Mortgage down in Vegas, and he is just prolific at AI because he is a technician on the Rainmaker archetype, and he cannot stand to waste time. I mean, this guy has always got to be finding a hack, including shaving down his morning routine to the absolute most efficient morning routine that puts him in the best mental, physical, and emotional state. And he uses AI to figure out everything, even down to his most efficient morning routine. Ryan has got a great business. He's also just a multiple entrepreneur. He is constantly doing 5 or 6 things in addition to being a loan officer. So for any of you who are like, I call him, you're a Renaissance man, brother. He's a coach inside of Elevate. You're flipping houses, you're having other businesses. And so AI's really been a partner for you. And I'm excited for you to tell us how we can make our lives easier as loan officers, convert more, win more. Take it away.
It's kind of funny you mentioned the morning routine first, because that was probably the first thing I used AI for, where I was really just bought in. I've had a morning routine since I was like 19 years old, and it's worked, not worked. I felt like it was a constant battle trying to get it right for me. And sometimes that sticks, sometimes it doesn't. After 3 months, it goes stale. And I saw, I think I think it was on Instagram, just a video of somebody talking about using it in their personal life. And I'd never thought about doing that before. So I was just curious, and I went to it and I said, "Hey, will you help me plan my morning routine?" And just talked back and forth with it. But like fast forward to now, my morning routine is effortless, more perfect than it's ever been, because I got to use AI to understand myself, which seems kind of backwards. AI is like, we see it as kind of a robot, but it helped me understand like myself better as a human. So like the morning routine piece was actually what got me bought in 100% on AI, and I've used it like crazy ever since. Wasn't even business things I used it for at first.
So I was just sitting here thinking, like, one of our students in Catalyst does this thing called Las Vegas Pitch, and Bill Gaylord gets agents together every other week and says, "Come pitch your listing." And I was thinking to myself, how cool would it be if I built, a chat inside of ChatGPT that calculated payments, and as you're pitching a property, I could quickly go, boom, figure out the payments for me on this. Versus if it was like, say, one of my builder properties, and I know they have a special rate or discount, boom, create the payment for that. And I was just thinking, like, how cool that we can move so quickly today. Whereas before, somebody would say, "Shayla, I need a payment flyer." And I had to go back to the office. I had to get on Calyx Point. I had to work it all out. I had to build some janky spreadsheet. I had to hand create flyers on a Word document. I mean, we've come so far. So let's just talk about those daily, weekly things that you use AI for that help you make your job easier as a loan officer.
So the mortgage payment piece was the very first business thing, mortgage related thing I ever used it for. It was a Saturday morning, and a client asked me for a payment. Didn't mind. Pulled up, I think, Mortgage Coach on my phone to give them the payment. And then 45 minutes later, the next house, they asked again. And then an hour later, they asked again. I was so annoyed just having to interrupt what I was doing on a Saturday to just calculate mortgage payments. So I went to ChatGPT and I asked it if it could help me create a chat that I used solely for mortgage payments. Like fast forward now, I have a link on my phone, on my home screen on my iPhone, I can tap on, and it goes to a custom GPT that chat helped me create, because I didn't know how to do that when I made the first one. I can go to it now, hit the talk to text, or actually talk to it and just say, "Give me a payment on a VA loan, 400,000, zero down, first time use," and it gives me a perfectly accurate payment and breakdown of the loan without me going anywhere else. It takes 10 seconds. Doesn't matter where I'm at. That was the very first business thing I used it for. But when it comes to just AI overall, I think you just have to learn to make it a part of your daily life first. If you aren't in the habit of just going to it for things that we typically do, it's hard to make it a like true partner in your business. So I think just starting to use it for simple things in your business, like, I don't know what to talk to agents about this week. Give me 3 ideas. Like, just trying to make it just a part of your daily business just helps you kind of get used to it being there, and helps you kind of snowball into some of the other things you can use it for. In a few minutes, I'll actually show some of the things I use it for. But what I've tried to do with ChatGPT specifically is make it kind of my business partner. I have some things it does automatically. I'll show you guys how to do it in a minute. But it does things like every Monday, send me a birthday message for all my birthdays for the week. Automatically sends me my topics to talk to agents about without me having to ask it to. It gives me market recaps on the past week. So I have talking points I can pass along to my team, so they know what to talk to clients and agents that ask them about instead of me having to do it. It does all these things automatically. But a lot of these things that I use it for, like marketing pieces, I craft scripts with it. All those things come from just me being curious and just asking it if it can help. So I think one of the most important things on a very basic level when it comes to making AI useful, just be curious. If there's something that you think would be cool for it to help you with, just go ask it, because it can probably do it or help you figure out how to do it. So a lot of the like really cool things I use it for now just came from me just being curious, just asking if it could help. I had somebody yesterday ask me if I could help them create, or if I could, I think they asked me if I could share my scripts for following up on leads that we just let fade, didn't do a good job staying in touch with. So I had them pull up their chat live with me. I had them turn on the talk to text, so they're not even typing. And I had them just ask it, like, "Hey, I have this problem. Will you help me come up with the words that I should say?" And it not only came up with a perfect list of like talking points, but also helped them turn that into their own words. Because your chat or your AI, whichever one you want to use, I use chat mostly, but the more you use it, the more it gets to know you. And it is terrifyingly good eventually at basically being you, talking like you, writing like you. it feels like it's in your head. It's pretty wild now how good it gets. But I think to adopt it, the easiest thing to do is find ways in your personal life to use it. Like I have a coach I created that's like fitness and health coach. It's better than any personal trainer I've ever paid, better than any nutritionist I've ever paid. But I think it's because it's always there, it's always present, and I can talk as openly and as often as I want to it, and I can tweak things nonstop with it. So it's worked like unbelievably well for me.
Ryan, would you be willing to share your screen? Do you have chat open on your Guild computer?
Yeah.
For all of our Guild team that's on this line, I upgraded. I pay for both a Copilot and a GBT. I almost exclusively work on my GBT. So just real quick, as you're showing us the GBT chat, when do you use Copilot? Because I think you pay for both, obviously.
Yeah, so I pay for both. I have quite a few different AI applications I use. Chat's like 95% of it though.
ChatGPT, okay.
Yeah, so the reason I like Chat is the whole premise behind ChatGPT is it to be basically a partner with us. It's much more conversational. It feels much more like working with the most intelligent person you've ever met. It doesn't feel robotic. Copilot I use for things that are inside of Microsoft applications. So I'll use it within like Outlook for helping recap long email chains. Like we're loan officers, we come to our email hopefully not more than every hour or so, but you'll go look at it sometimes and all of a sudden you'll have a chain of 19 email responses. Nobody wants to go read through all those. So I'll recap it inside Excel spreadsheets. I don't know if you guys know this, but Copilot, Chat are amazing at creating spreadsheets. Don't ever make a spreadsheet from scratch ever again.
Oh my gosh, I want to learn just that one skill, Ryan. I need a session on creating some spreadsheets. That's amazing.
What's crazy is it does it from conversation. Like you can just say something like, help me create a business plan spreadsheet that I can use for my team and start talking to it. And it takes what you're telling it and turns it into like data and creates the formulas and everything inside the spreadsheet just from conversations, telling it what you want.
Wow. Okay. And the other thing, when I was in Chicago at the Elevate Sales Rally, Ryan literally sat side by side with me. And I'm like, dude, I'm at like base ground. I don't even have ChatGPT installed on my iPhone. So we went to the App Store and got it on my phone. I upgraded to the enterprise version. So when I'm working on ChatGPT on my phone, which I do a lot, I go on a lot of walk-in things because when I'm walking and I'm in nature, I think so clearly. And so like anything, if somebody's bugging you or you have to have an important conversation, for me, I'm always thinking about these kind of calls and outlines to lunch and learns and speaking events and speeches and, all that stuff. I will just talk into ChatGPT and it'll like, refine my notes and give me an agenda or whatever the case might be. But the cool part is if I'm doing it on my phone, it's also on my desktop. So when I'm at work and I want to go back to that thing, it's there. And what you're showing me here is your desktop version of ChatGPT. So on the left, you can see all the chats that he's had. So you could go back to those things. Like it looks like you have a home improvement ideas, you have real estate tax strategies, you have, whatever. And that's there. So up above, it looks like you did something on this last chat about a podcast notes for me. What'd you do here?
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite things I use Chat for. So I give it notes for everything. I treat it like it's like my second memory. So as you and Kit were talking, I was taking notes so you guys could see live what this looks like. So as you guys were talking, I was just taking notes here instead of writing them down or somewhere else. So now Chat remembers it for me. So now I can come back later and I can ask it to go find things that I remembered you guys talking about, but maybe not details. It will also automatically bring up things as I talk to it and work with it. Like I told you, I have a mortgage coach and a business partner. They will bring up things from notes from Slay with Shay, from the sales rally, from things like this, just based on conversations we're having because I put those notes in here.
Wow.
Without me prompting it to. It'll just say, hey, remember this, or maybe you should go revisit this, go rewatch this part of the sales rally. It'll pull scripts that I've put in here.
So can you scroll up? I just want to see how you started that note. Starting notes for Shay's podcast. Okay. So you called this a podcast and then you just ran through notes and now it keeps it. So you have some projects over here on the left and you have a mortgage business project. And you've got your coaches. Do you want to show us the coaches? Or you want
so I think this is really cool to show first. So if you guys aren't familiar with Chat, there's two different types of memory. So your ChatGPT account has a global memory and remembers things that it thinks it should remember and might be useful later, but they're pretty basic and kind of like a subject line of an email is kind of how they work. Projects are meant to be, they're originally meant for like coding projects, but projects are meant to be kind of a self-contained like ecosystem of chats. So what I decided to do was go try to create one that had all my coaches in it because I wanted my coaches to be able to kind of talk to each other instead of me passing information back and forth. I thought it'd be cool if they all kind of had a understanding of what I was working with the others on without me having to repeat conversations over and over and over again. So I decided to come in here and create a different chat for each type of coach. And I had no idea how to do that. So the way I started was I started with this AI Coach Hub. It was literally a brand new chat. And I just said, I think I want to create different coaches and I want them to be contained into like one individual chat. How do I do this? And from me just telling chat what I wanted to do, it walked me step by step through what information needed from me. And by the time I was done with that combo, it gave me copy and paste instructions to take to a new chat and paste to create the coach. And it helps me ongoing now, constantly refine them, update them. But the reason that works in projects is because projects have their own memory and it's more detailed. So they all are able to write memory to the same project and access it. Inside projects is the only place chats have a read-only view of other chats. Chats can't see other chats except inside of a project. So my coaches know exactly what's going on with the other coaches. So I'll be talking about goals with my mortgage coach and my business partner when we're doing our Monday morning meeting with my AI business partner. We'll reference goals that I set with my mortgage coach without me telling it all by itself. So it creates this this just like sync between them. It makes.
Can you go to your fitness and health coach, for example, just to show us maybe a recent chat?
So most people don't know this. Chat can do tasks like automated tasks. You get up to 10 on your account. So every single morning, 8:30 a.m., my health and fitness coach sends me my workout for the day. Or if it's a rest day, tells me what I'm supposed to do that day. So here's, well, those are updates. So here's what those look like. It just tells me what my day is. This was for a rest day. So it's telling me what I'm supposed to do that day. If you ask it about a workout that it suggests and you don't know it, it'll go find the video and give it to you inside chat so you can watch it without leaving. But it gives these to me every day, all by itself.
Wow. And did you program it and say, I want to lose 5 pounds, or I want to beef up my muscle tone, or I want to cut body fat by 10% or something like that?
Yeah, basically. So I think there's two things that make doing something like this work really well. I think it helps if you first tell it or ask it what it needs from you to be a good coach. So when I started this one, I said, I want to create a health and fitness coach. What do you need from me so you can be a good coach? With my health and fitness. And it immediately gave me a list of it was like 30 things it wanted from me. And I told it to just one at a time, just ask me questions. And then I told it just very basic goals that I had currently. It was like 2 or 3 things. And it just helped me kind of build a plan and structure it correctly. But the cool thing is having this, it constantly changes. So like if I miss a day traveling for Slay with Shay, I come in here and be like, hey, I'm going to be traveling. Help me adjust my workout schedule. And it adjusts it, helps me figure out what I could do on the road, how many days I should take off, what my recovery needs to be like after I get back.
Awesome. All right. So there's a couple questions about getting ChatGPT on your Guild computer. Yeah, you just got to upgrade to the enterprise, and it's worth the $19, you guys. And if you go into SharePoint and you just search or our GBT inside of Guild, you'll find exactly how to do it. Even I figured it out, and all I had to do was go to SharePoint and figure that out in 5 seconds. Let's look at the mortgage business, because you have this as a whole. We're off coaches now. You have this as a project. Yeah. So you have a project around your business.
Yeah. This one's super simple. What I use this one for.
Tell us a little bit about this.
So I only have 3 things in this. This I actually started first before I created my business partner. So now all the things that I used to do in here are all just in my business partner.
Oh.
But these are still things I use occasionally. So one really cool thing I use it for, saving business cards. Every single time I meet somebody now, I take a picture of the business card. I put it in here, tell it to save it, and I have it go find whatever it can on that person and give me kind of like a profile on that person. It seems really creepy, but it's really cool. So yesterday I was calling a listing agent on an offer, and instead of me just looking them up on MMI and getting an idea what level of producer they were, I asked Chat to go find whatever information it could and tell me who they are, so I could try to connect with them faster. Sometimes it works. Sometimes I still don't give you the opportunity to, but it helps you approach the conversations way more accurately. And like going to like a networking event, we always get business cards, think we're going to follow up. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, or the business cards get lost. Now I took a picture in here. So now the next time I need to go follow up with that person in my like 10-week follow-up plan, I can just come back here and ask like, hey, I'm ready to follow up with this person. Based on what you know about them, what do you think I should say when I call them the first time? Or what do you think would be a good follow-up idea?
Can you
Just
show me
between business
the
cards.
mortgage payment calculator under GPTs, and what does that mean? What's the difference between that and a project?
So a project is a collection of chats. A custom GPT is something that is a specific purpose. So a custom GPT is basically a GPT. A simple way of explaining it is kind of like a very basic, like customized AI for a specific purpose. So that seems really complex, creating your own. But the way ChatGPT is built, it helps you create it and does the instruction like creation for you, and you can adjust it. So the mortgage payment calculator one, what I did was create a custom GPT. The value of having a custom GPT is I can share the link with my team, so my team can use the same thing. It's not just contained to mine. I could actually give this to any of you guys, and you could use it just from the link.
Nice.
But having this now, I have a link for it saved on my home screen on my iPhone. I can use it inside chat. I can use it on my work computer, anywhere I can access a GPT, and I can come into it and say something like, we'll say, actually here, I'm going to show you guys how much easier this is. AI is way easier to use if you talk instead of type. All right, give me a payment on a VA loan, $450,000, 0 down, first time use. So building this, I told it what assumptions it's allowed to make, which things it has to ask follow-up questions on, so it doesn't make assumptions incorrectly. I told it what I use for taxes, for insurance. If I don't give it a rate, it suggests using Optimal Blue to pull a rate if I just need to do one quick on the go. We do this enough, we have a pretty good idea where rates are going to be at for most people. So it's missing part of it because the interest rate's not there. So now I'm going to come back and tell it the rate. Use, let's see. The way it lays this out as a table is something I told it. So if you guys don't like how things are formatted in whatever you're using chat for, you can tell it exactly how you want the results to look. So I wanted it to be a table with 2 columns. That was all I told it, and it formatted all of it for me. Oh, it got stuck. All right. Another thing, if you guys didn't know you could do this, you can edit a chat instead of just talking to it a whole bunch. You can come back and edit the chat you already did, and it erases what it did and redoes it. So if you guys ever make a mistake, you don't have to try to recover from it. You can go back and edit the chat and it'll redo it.
It's fantastic.
So I use this on the go all the time. We have a pretty good feel for where rates are at. So I just tell it a little bit of info it needs, and it auto calculates all this for me.
Annette's asking what all of us are thinking. Are you able to share the link to this GPT you already created?
Yeah, I'll share the link with you guys.
Okay, we'll email it out with the recording, you guys. Oh, there's lots of hearts going off.
This is my favorite thing I've ever created. I hate calculating just payments or logging in just to do a payment.
This is fantastic. All right, team, let's see what questions we have from Ryan on anything else. Do you want to show us where you have scripting, Ryan, and just, like a client's asking me this or that, or,
Yeah, so I do those with my business partner. So my business partner, I basically created to be like my other half. So it does all kinds of things. It'll summarize the MBS highway updates for me in the morning and turn them into talking points every single day. It helps me craft scripts. An example of scripting I used, I have my rate watch list and I send them an update every Friday. The very first time I wanted to send out the text or make calls, I asked my business partner, to help me come up with a conversation piece or talking points, script, however you want to word it, for me to reach out to people who have a rate above, I think I said 6.25, and start conversations with them and basically ask for their permission to start watching their rate and giving them updates on it weekly. And then I came back the next week to my business partner. This is why I keep it here. I came back the next Friday and said, write me a follow-up text to the conversation we had last Friday for our rate watch list. And it gave me a new text, new conversation piece. I've done that 5 weeks in a row now, so it updates it here. So I'll do the one for tomorrow.
So you're using probably Hit 'em Up or Reach app to do. So every Friday, anybody who's on your strike rate watch list for rates, you do a quick script here, you go into Reach and you text 100 people or whatever on Friday saying, hey, just an update. Here's what rates are.
Yep.
Holy hell. And so you're looking like a genius. You're sending great communication and you're in front of your people. And that took all of what, 7-10 minutes?
So Reach has an automated send now too, and it randomizes it so you don't get caught by spam filters. Wow. So I literally come to chat, have it write it, copy it over to Reach, select my list and hit send and just set my phone down. I usually have it running while I'm doing my morning meeting with my team, and it's auto sending while I'm doing my meeting in the morning. All of that takes 5 minutes or less on Fridays to send out. And because I keep it here and it's my business partner, it knows me better than probably any chat inside my ChatGPT. It knows exactly how to sound like me. It's pretty rare I have to adjust anything in the scripts it gives me.
That's fantastic. You guys see how Ryan's obsessed with massive impact in the shortest amount of time. So isn't that cool? We get stuck in implementation for 2 reasons: fear and overwhelm. So how would you, Ryan, start thinking about this 4th quarter and going into the new year saying, I've always known I've wanted to stay in touch with clients this way, or realtors that way, or my refi watch list this way. And I keep getting stuck because I get overwhelmed because of blah, 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 blah. Like, how would you coach us to use this tool now to keep busting through the overwhelm?
Tell exactly what your issue is every single time. It's helped me with so many different scenarios like that. Like this week, pre-approvals that are expired and just kind of fade and we fall out of touch with them. I had to ask for how I should approach reaching back out to them. And its suggestions were way better than what I was thinking. So just ask. I don't think you need to try to think through the perfect question or the perfect prompt or think too much into what you already think you should do, because that's normally where we get stuck anyways. Just start the conversation. I think the best thing you can do when you have something you want help with is just start the conversation as quick as possible and just work with it. Talk to it like it's the most intelligent person you know. Just start the conversation. I've learned if you just start the conversation, you'll get to the solution you need way faster than you think. So just start the conversation.
Start the conversation, you guys. Obviously, if you do not have ChatGPT or Copilot on your phone, you don't have the app, you haven't paid the $19 a month, you have to start there. You know, everything is about micro actions. And I want you to get to the end of the 4th quarter with more confidence about your value and what you do to help people win. And I want you to get to the end of the year with a bit more confidence that you have help in your pocket. And all you have to do is ask. There's a lot of reasons why we don't ask for help. We don't slow down enough. We don't stop and say, what is bugging me, pissing me off? Where am I frustrated? Where do I keep not executing? And a great student takes time for self-reflection. So you might have to start journaling once a week to say, what was the stuff that pissed me off this week? What did I not get done? What took me way too much time? If you start analyzing your own self and your business, then now you can start using these resources to say, okay, how could I have tightened up my pre-approval letter so that I didn't get this question later? How could I have worked differently with a realtor so that they referred me better? And you just start taking micro actions and shifts. What could I have asked AI to help me with today so I didn't spin out in my head about what to say or how to say it or what marketing to put out or whatever? So this was a fantastic call. Ryan, you're an Elevate coach. All those people who coach with Ryan get him every other week. Can you imagine your acceleration through AI, getting Ryan as your coach? For some of you, you'll have him on your wish list as a future coach. Thank you for always being willing to generously give and serve Kit and Ryan. This was a fantastic call. I think we all walk away with some stuff to improve our life and our business. And that's what this is all about. So thank you for your time today, and let's go crank up the dial. Have a good one.